The sanctity of human life is under assault. Find out how and what you can do about it in this edition of Life Matters with Brian Johnston. Brian Johnston is the Western Director of the National Right to Life Committee. He has served in many capacities while advocating for innocent lives. As California Commissioner on Aging, as Chairman of the California Pro-Life Council, on the board of the National Legal Center for the Medically Dependent and Disabled. He is an author and lecturer, a film producer and commentator. And now here's our host, Brian Johnston.
Well, hello and welcome back to Life Matters, your program on life, culture, and the battle of ideas. We have a special program today. I was recently back in Washington, D.C. I had the chance to go by the National Right to Life headquarters in Washington. It's just up the street from the FBI building. And it's a great place to go. Whenever I'm back in D.C., I spend a lot of time there. And I took the opportunity to record some very important folks that are working day in and day out on behalf of the right to life. And I think that what you'll hear will broaden your perspective. A lot of times we get involved. I know most of us, when we think about abortion and when we understand it, it's emotionally very, very irritating. It's alarming when you see that these are human babies that are being killed. And sometimes we can let our emotions get the better of us, and we only approach it then from an emotional point of view, when in fact, in order to be effective ultimately, we've got to use our minds. We've got to be equipped in this battle of ideas so that we can win on behalf of those who can't protect themselves. And that's why National Right to Life exists. It's a team of people from across the nation and across the political world, you might say. But basically, everyone agrees that the laws must change, that the laws are unjust, and they must again protect innocent human life. So we have folks involved in crisis pregnancy centers, folks involved in every aspect of the pro-life movement. But the ultimate goal is to not just put up with this abortion holocaust and the coming threat of euthanasia, etc., but instead to stand in the gap. And we want to make sure that as you stand in the gap, that you're prepared with the tools for this battle. Again, it's a battle of ideas. And you want to engage in our cultural milieu in a way that we can bring the truth in a way that's both understood and that it endures. So I had the opportunity to interview Jackie Ragan, who is the chair of the NRLC Convention, National Right to Life Committee Convention. We talk about that. And then I spent some time talking to Dave Andrusko later in the program about the NRL News. You can get all of this information online, of course, at nrlc.org. That's nrlc.org. But it's a way for you to plug into the bigger movement, the bigger issue. Maybe you're just involved in a crisis pregnancy center. Maybe you're simply involved in a salt and light ministry at your church. Or maybe you're just pro-life and you just feel it's wrong, but you don't know what to do about it. And so that's why National Right to Life exists, is to restore the right to life to our culture and to our laws. And we're winning, believe it or not. It may seem difficult at times, but we're getting there. So I want to invite you to listen these upcoming segments as we talk about the right to life.
You're listening to Life Matters.
Well, you know that Life Matters is about life, culture, and the battle of ideas. And no place is the battle of ideas more evident than in Hollywood, California. I have on with me Bo Bryant. He's the communications director for the Life Fest Film Festival. Hey, Bo.
Hey, Brian. How are you doing?
Great. Hey, tell us about Life Fest, what it is and what happens.
Okay, so Life Fest is the film festival dedicated to showcasing films that affirm the intrinsic worth of human life and the profound significance of each life. So Life Film Fest is based in the heart of the entertainment industry. It's in Hollywood, California, and it takes place every year. So this year, it takes place from May 4th to May 7th, 2017. So that's the first weekend in May. And really what it is, it's about bringing together experienced Hollywood professionals with those just starting out in the industry so that we can really showcase films that affirm life culture, and really engage in the battle of ideas.
Awesome. That is excellent. How can folks get in touch with Life Fest?
We're always looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to sign up, or if you have a film that you'd like to submit and have it shown there, you can find all of our information at lifefilmfest.com. So that's lifefilmfest.com.
That's Life Film Fest, and we hope to hear more from you, Bo, and Life Film Fest. Thanks a lot. Talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Find out about the exciting cultural change impacting Hollywood. Go to lifefilmfest.com. And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Well, hi. Welcome back to Life Matters. This is Brian Johnston, your host. This is the program on life, the right to life, the culture, and the battle of ideas. And there's a very real battle of ideas. If you don't understand that, then you're going to get caught up in it, and lives are at stake. Very important that you engage in this battle. I'm very privileged right now to join with an old friend, Jackie Ragan. Jackie Ragan, among other things, serves on the board of the National Right to Life Committee and is the delegate from Arkansas. But most importantly for our conversation now, she has been the director of the National Right to Life Convention for quite a few years.
A while, yes.
And Jackie, we were talking earlier that National Right to Life, in my perspective, I believe is the most important organization in our society.
Without a doubt.
The issue that must be addressed in American society is whether or not innocent human life is going to be protected. And while many people care about it and have emotional concerns, the real question is, can we bring this to an end? The answer is yes.
Of course we can.
We must work through the law to change the law.
To change the law, that's right.
And so we must work as a team with other people in our communities, other people in our society. And National Right to Life is built on that model, where every state, I'm in California, you're in Arkansas, and we have 50 states with a state affiliate of National Right to Life. That affiliate has people in the community, and in that local community, they're working together. They're from different backgrounds, different churches, different interests on other issues. That's okay. We're just regular people.
That's right.
Here to make a difference. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
That's right.
And I think that the National Right to Life Convention is extraordinary and incredibly important in this team building. So tell us a little bit about why National Right to Life Convention and what happens at a National Right to Life Convention.
Well, it is 3 days, packed full of sessions. People work all year to save the money. They hold bake sales, yard sales to save money, to
send chapters there
and get their leadership there. And so it is a gathering of the pro-life leadership. The late Dr. Jean Garten, I'm one of her biggest fans. She always called it the annual gathering of America's pro-life family. And that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Brings people from all across the country and internationally, and they come together for 3 days full of learning, from general sessions to workshops. We bring in over 100 speakers. It is the only thing of its kind in the Right to Life movement.
Yes.
And it is well worth the time and effort that people spend to get there. You will learn more and get more out of this 3 days than anything I can think of.
I agree. And I've been at the last 30, and I learned something new every time.
Yes.
I know many folks are listening to this program right now on Christian radio stations, and you should know, if you don't, that the scripture is very clear. My people die for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And if we don't approach this battle of ideas with knowledge, then we can create more problems. We want to make sure that we fight to win on behalf of those innocent babies, on behalf of the vulnerable elderly, on behalf of the disabled. Their lives are at stake right now because the laws have been changed by our opponents. And unless we understand how to impact the culture, impact our community, and impact those laws, we can't win. So God's dependent on you to get educated, to get the knowledge and information to do that, and that's what the convention does.
Yes, and we cover all of those topics and more.
Yes.
Another aspect of the convention is there's the National Teen Convention that goes along in conjunction with it. And they have their own sessions with age-appropriate speakers and topic-appropriate things.
Yeah, it's a great part of the convention.
That's
have
right.
The teens to
That's right.
feel their energy and excitement. These are the next generation of pro-life warriors. And again, when we speak of warriors, we're talking about warring in the battle of ideas. Ultimately, people are afraid at times, I think, of civics and of the law. But if you realize laws are just ideas that are enforced.
That's right.
So if we can master these ideas and why it is you're pro-life, if you're listening and you're pro-life because you like babies, well, I like babies too.
Right.
But what I don't like is that the law is allowing them to be killed. And the only way to change that is for us to understand that civic process. So there's so many different topics that we need to understand. And because of the change in technology, just one minor example, RU-486. We see that the killing of babies is now moving from the surgical realm to the chemical realm. And Planned Parenthood is starting to hand out, I know in California, they want the state to hand out RU-46 like candy to kids in college. Girls 18 and 19 years old, they have no idea what they're about to take. And this is not the morning after pill.
No.
Many people don't fully understand the details. Right. They have a foggy notion about these things. This is a very specific chemical abortifacient designed to kill that child. It's not taken after relations. No, this is taken actually a long time later when mom knows she's pregnant.
Yes.
There's a beating heart present. A unique human being is present. And this is a chemical that changes mom's body. That girl's designed, all women are designed to be moms.
That's
and
right.
It's
That's
awesome.
Right.
I'm in awe of women because you can bring life into the world. This is designed to stop that, to change motherhood, to prevent her from being a mother, to attack her body. RU-46 doesn't just attack the baby.
Yes.
It attacks the mom's body to make her stop being a mother. It attacks it chemically with this steroid.
Yes.
It's extremely dangerous. A lot of pro-lifers don't know that. No. I've talked to people that say, well, that's the morning after pill.
No.
You've got to be equipped. There's workshops. That's just one. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of topics that are coming to your community. And these are debates that aren't going to be on your local television station. They're going to be at your kitchen table.
Right.
They're going to be with your relatives. And if you're not equipped, you're not going to be able. You might sense there's something wrong. You might sense you don't like the pro-abortion or the anti-life position. We want to make sure you're equipped.
Yes, yes. For those people that were at the 2015 convention, which was in New Orleans, they were able to hear Dr. George Delgado, who has perfected a pill that can be given after the first RU-486 pill in case the young girl changes her mind.
Yes.
And more and more and more that is happening. We've been able to get the abortion pill reversal language added into a woman's right to know legislation so that that's part of the information she is given.
That's right.
And it is saving some of those lives that were meant to be taken.
That's right. We're very proud, by the way, of Dr. Delgado because he's a Californian.
I thought he was a Californian, yes.
But more specifically, I'm saying that is that there are people in every state that come. The nation gathers with their gifting and abilities, and there's people with insights. I don't know if we have a list of some of last year's workshops. There's certain things in your community. I'll be honest, this may sound odd to you, but I was quite, for you as a listener, I was quite instructed at what's happening in the Girl Scouts of America.
Oh, yes.
And there was an excellent workshop, and I know many of you who have daughters think, well, let's send our daughters to the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts has become infected with the abortion mentality.
That's right.
They want to infect the minds of young women when they're manipulatable.
Yes.
And so the Girl Scouts has become a tool of the abortion lobby. That was just one workshop off the top of my head, but there's so many.
We will have that workshop again this year in Milwaukee, as well as an exhibit on what you need to know about the Girl Scouts before you get involved.
It's about a lot more than cookies if you look into the Girl Scouts.
Yes.
In terms of faith, we're a non-sectarian organization.
Yes.
So we've got great people. A lot of folks know Father Frank Pavone. He's at every convention. From Priest for Life, Richard Land from the Baptists. There's many other folks from different denominational backgrounds because what unites us is the desire to protect those that can't protect themselves.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to work together and to be equipped together with the tools to change our culture and to change our communities. So I know some of the workshops, there's going to be some on assisted suicide. That's an issue that's particularly concerning to me.
Yes.
But there's many other workshops, all the nuances on counseling centers, how to be an effective counseling center.
Yes.
We know that there's a war against pregnancy counseling centers.
Absolutely.
And you need to be equipped, if you're involved in a crisis pregnancy center, how to be involved in the political war to shut it down.
Yes. Dr. Randy O'Bannon is inviting all of the crisis pregnancy centers to come together on the Saturday of the convention, which will be July 1st, for a luncheon and just to share ideas and how we can help one another. And I think we'll have a great turnout.
It's really
the crisis
exciting.
Pregnancy centers.
Yeah, it's very exciting. The National Right to Life Convention takes place in various cities. Often it comes back to D.C.
every 4 years.
That's right, because all of you as Americans have a unique privilege. You can change the laws. You can change the people who make the important decisions. And we want you involved in the political process. It's not dirty. It's a responsibility.
That's right.
It's a responsibility of the Right to Life movement and of us as individuals to be involved with wisdom and understanding in how politics works. So we come back to D.C., but in other times we rotate through the country so we can have that cross-pollinization.
Right.
And Jackie is very busy, as you can tell. She's always getting, there was another call there, but I'm so appreciative of the time, Jackie, that we've had. Anything else about the convention, people, where can they go to find out more?
Go to our website, which is nrlconvention.com, and all of the information you need for hotels, to register, the speakers, everything is on that website.
It's a great investment of time during the summer. If you're going to go on a summer trip, this is well worth it. To bring the kids, there's a workshop for the older kids.
Yes.
To equip them, and the younger kids, there's fun things for them to do.
Yes.
And again, if you want general information on the Right to Life, go to nrlc.org.
That's right.
Jackie, thanks so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Life Matters continues after this. If you have questions or comments for Life Matters, call 800-924-2490. Give us your name and the town you're calling from and a quick question or comment. And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Welcome back to Life Matters, your program on life, culture, and the battle of ideas. And if you don't realize we're in a battle, you need to know we are, and that lives are truly at stake in this battle. I have the privilege to sit down right now with Dave Andrusko. Dave is the editor of National Right to Life News, and he has been doing this for years. It's your source for pro-life information, and I want to hear a little bit about what Dave will tell us about how to stay informed on what's happening in the Right to Life cause. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. Well, tell us, for folks that are just hearing this on the radio right now, what's the best way for them to be up to date on pro-life information?
Well, we produce a daily output of between 10 and 13 stories and a monthly electronic digital newspaper. And it covers everything from A to Z, domestic and foreign, abortion, infanticide, euthanasia, and in a fashion that's readily accessible to anyone around the world. And best of all, from our perspective, it's picked up by major information sources, and of course the individual person reading them can pass it along to their friends as well.
So for years you have been editor of the print version of NRL News, which was the pro-life newspaper of record, and I've actually kept my NRL News from years ago. They're long yellowed, but there's a lot of very valuable information because it's not just the ephemera of an issue, just what's happening that day, the actual principles. And folks, if you haven't followed NRLC, we're diverse people from across the cultural perspective that agree on the most important issue facing our society, and that is protecting innocent human life. If you care about life, you have to care about the laws that are allowing the killing that's happening right now, and you want to do something about it. NRL News is going to equip you to do that on a day-to-day basis. Since NRL News moved away from the newspaper format, tell us about the digital format of NRL News.
Well, there's so many advantages, ironically. I was ink-stained wrench. I was in newspaper business going back to the 70s when I worked on a college newspaper. But the transformation to digital electronic means instead of sending somebody a copy of NRL News once a month to Australia, which might take 3 weeks to get there, literally seconds after we post it online, someone in Australia or England or Kansas, for that matter, can read it and know exactly what's going on. And of course, again, being digital, being on the internet, it means that we can update stories literally by the minute.
That's exciting. And also, every day, you also have a daily iteration.
We do. It's not a very imaginative name. It's called National Right to Life News Today. And we produce roughly 10 to 13 items. And again, last Friday, for example, we talked about everything from the upcoming Supreme Court nomination to an attempt to pass a right to die measure in New Zealand. And we think that that kind of up-to-the-minute, current, across-the-board national and international coverage gives right to lifers across the world a chance to know what's going on. And most importantly, they have a way of getting to their legislators and others to let them know what they feel about the issue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's because the Right to Life movement is actually you. Where you're listening right now, this is actually about you and what are you going to do. I like, too, Dave, how you mentioned that this is internationally read because our cause is actually, I believe, it's the basis of Western civilization. The idea that innocent life should be protected is the very premise on which our nation is built. I believe our founders took the distillation of what they had been given in Western culture, Western civilization, and they cobbled together an extraordinary document to found this nation from those hopes from around the world here in the United States. And that's what made America what it is. And the foundational premise is that every life has intrinsic worth and value, that the government didn't give you that it's something that was given by your Creator, and that the role of government, of a just government, is to protect that life first and foremost, and all of the other rights that emanate from your life. So the right to life, if you care about anything, if you think there's a lot of problems, you need to recognize that the right to life being lost in 1973, because that's what the Supreme Court did, is they dismissed the right to life of that innocent child. When that happened, there was a sea change in our culture. And if you don't like what's going on, you need to address that, and you need to be equipped to address it. So NRL News is your tool to get up-to-date information and to be ready for the battle of ideas that's on us and that's raging all around. Dave, anything else people should know about NRL News, about National Right to Life's overarching purpose?
Well, I mentioned international for a variety of reasons. The culture of death is not confined to the United States of America. It's around the world, and right to life groups and groups who respect the right to life look to us as a model of how to turn back the tide. The 73 decision was the second, actually. The biggest one prior to that was in Canada. And the principles that we've enunciated to explain why innocent unborn life should not be taken applies as well to the elderly, to those who are born with disabilities. And the methods, the grassroots efforts that we have, that's the model that other countries are assuming and taking up in their fights, again, across the world.
Yes.
And that's why when we do our material each day, we put out a heavy dose of state activities because we are a federal union. We have a national government, but we also have 50 states. And it's important for people in the United States and, again, around the world to understand how somebody in Wisconsin, somebody in Washington, somebody in West Virginia is fighting to stem the tide of death.
Yes, and especially I'm glad you mentioned Canada. The fact that things are happening in other parts of the world, our contemporary media tends to not focus on important issues around the world. NRL News does. So you mentioned the Morgentaler decision way back, but there's things going on in Canada that a lot of Americans don't understand. With the very recent legalizing of assisted suicide in Canada, the numbers leapt much more quickly than in our various U.S. states. In Canada, the rate of assisted suicide being used under their national socialized health program has just leapt extraordinarily. But something this week that was just reiterated in the national news in Canada is now it's become rather routine for a physician to both kill their patient using medicine and immediately harvest their organs for the good of humanity. And this is a routine practice now in Canada Most Americans don't understand this is going on. They don't understand the implications of this battle. And we want to make sure they understand that once you remove that standard for medicine, once you say that medicine can be used to kill, whether it be a little baby in the womb or a grandma, even though you have feelings, it's about your feelings towards grandma. Once medicine can kill that person, then Katie bar the door. The notion of ethical decisions is completely surpassed. And the dangers that are still before us, many people don't recognize.
That's why the metaphor of cancer is so useful. Canada picked up that idea of harvesting organs from people who are going to die anyway. Originated in Belgium and the Netherlands. And of course, that same sort of idea is being propagated here in the United States.
Yes.
You heard this forever. As long as someone's going to die anyway, why not get some good out of it? And that means, by the way, that you would be pushing people as well as just cavalierly standing by while they donated their organs. And that's why it's so interesting that the Right to Life Coalition now includes disability rights groups, which understands that among the groups most in the crosshairs of the anti-life movement are people with disabilities. And that's why you see they're the most eloquent, and a rights to lifer might not be heard in a legislative setting, but somebody who comes in with a significant disability saying, my life is just as valuable to me as yours is to you. Don't take it away. It's very, very powerful.
That's right. If you're not yet part of this larger team, make sure you go to nrlc.org. That's nrlc.org. And then while you're there, make sure that you register and get your daily subscription to NRL News Today. And then, of course, NRL News itself, which is an encapsulation of all of these stories, again, from throughout the world in the fight to protect those that can't protect themselves. Dave, good to have you on. We want to have you back another time, but thank you for all you do for NRL News.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, thank you for listening. If you're just tuning in, this is Life Matters, your program on life, culture, and the battle of ideas. And we just concluded some interviews at the National Right to Life office, off-the-cuff interviews with some of the staff of the National Right to Life Committee. We talked about the upcoming convention for National Right to Life this year in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you'd like more information on the National Right to Life Committee, go to National Right to Life at nrlc.org. That's nrlc.org. And if you're in California, go to the state affiliate, CaliforniaProLife.org. That's all spelled out, no hyphens, CaliforniaProLife.org. And any other states you'll find at the NRLC website, you're going to find the state affiliate there. Get involved in this battle of ideas. Don't just bemoan it. Make a difference. Be a warrior in this battle. The innocent need you.
Learn more about everything in today's show online at lifematters.life, where you'll find all the resources you need to protect life. To subscribe to the Life Matters podcast, go to lifematters.life, where you'll find out a lot more about life, culture, and the battle of ideas. Life Matters is a production of the California Pro-Life Council, the state affiliate of National Right to Life.